Alright, we are live, ladies and germs. And we're going to be doing a live review of the XFinity Series race from last night. Got a couple more hours before the Cup race, the Cup finale. So we're going to go ahead and get this one done and over with. So let's get into it. This is the fuel. This video is sponsored by Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. Click on the link in the description and use the code PackerMan to save 10% on any order. This video is sponsored by Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. Click on the link in the description and use the code PackerMan to save 10% on any order. Hey, what's happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan, and welcome to this edition of The Fuel, this live edition of The Fuel, where for this edition we're going to be talking about the 2023 XFinity Series Championship race at the Phoenix Raceway from last night. And I don't know if you can tell, but the music is back on in the background, because this race didn't royally piss me off like the Truck Series race did. Because, I mean, when you look at that truck race, and I wasn't the only one who felt that way. I mean, pretty much everybody in the industry felt like that race was a complete disaster. And the XFinity race didn't feel that way. I mean, there were some moments where it just felt like the back markers were just trying, every which way to Sunday, to fucking mess with this race. But, I mean, for the most part, the race overall, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't anything that we're going to be talking about 10 years down the road. But for what it was okay. A lot of this race was kind of boring, particularly in the first stage, which is to be expected. And we had an overtime, and you know how much I can't stand those. At the very least, we only had one frickin' overtime as opposed to 4 for the Truck Series. Hold on, let me check. Let me check and see how I sound with this new mic. At the very least, we only had one frickin' overtime as opposed to 4 for the Truck Series. Sound pretty good. I should probably turn it down a little bit, though. This microphone's pretty damn good. Holy shit. Of course, it's brand spanking new, so. But anyway. Custer ended up winning the championship. He won 3 races here in 2023, which is not as crazy as his previous outings in the XFinity Series had been, where he was winning like 7 races per season. And before he won at Phoenix, he only had 2 wins, and both of those were on road courses, so it's kind of like, well, would he be able to put something together for Phoenix? And, well, he pretty much did. I mean, he led the most laps. And, I mean, even though this race wasn't great, I mean, and even though it took an overtime to do it, which I absolutely hate, I mean, at least it did kind of stick the landing with the finish, because you had all 4 championship contenders right there together. In fact, they all went 4 wide coming off of turn 2, and the top 3, were the championship contenders going 3 wide, which is just fucking insane. But Custer was able to pull it out and win the championship. And, I mean, let's be completely honest here. Stewart-Haas Racing, they needed something in the worst possible way. In the worst possible way, because the last couple of years, particularly in Cup, have not been going very good. They're losing Eric Almirola, they're losing Kevin Harvick, they're losing a couple of big-time sponsors in Smithfield and Anheuser-Busch. It's just not been going well for Stewart-Haas Racing as of late. So this is something that they desperately needed, and honestly, this was also something that Cole Custer desperately needed, because Cole Custer, he's just in this weird quandary, because I always have the feeling that he's just way too talented for the Xfinity Series, but then he just struggles in Cup, and it's just like, it's just so weird, And there was always this overarching feeling that, well, he deserves to be in Cup, and it's like, bruh, he dropped back down to the Xfinity Series because, let's be completely honest here, he had 3 years to prove himself. And, you might say a lot of that might be attributed to the fact that Stewart-Haas is on a bit of a downturn. They haven't been that good in the last couple of years. I mean, you could say that, but the fact of the matter is he had 3 years to prove himself, and other than that fluke win at Kentucky, he didn't prove a damn thing. So, quite frankly, he needed to move back to the Xfinity Series because, sometimes you just need a career reset. Look what happened with John Hunter Nemechek. He was up in Cup and then dropped back down to the Truck Series, then made his way back up to the Xfinity Series, and now he's going to be racing in Cup next year. And Josh Berry's moving up to Cup, Carson Hocevar is moving up to Cup, Zane Smith is moving up to Cup, so there's going to be a lot of new guys in Cup next year. And I'm pretty sure Cole Custer would like to move back up to the Cup Series, but he signed a new contract and he was going to be committed to Xfinity for 2024. So he's going to be defending his Xfinity Series championship. And I'm going to be completely honest, I was actually rooting for Allgaier to win the championship because this is his 6th time that he's made it to the championship 4 in the Xfinity Series, and he has still yet to win a championship. And this is yet another season where he goes without an Xfinity Series championship. He's basically settled into the role, the thankless role, being the gatekeeper in the Xfinity Series. Kind of a lifelong Xfinity Series driver, which isn't really that bad of a career to be honest. Sometimes, maybe he just prefers to race on Saturdays because he has a family. He has a family life. Maybe he just doesn't want to deal with the stress of racing on Sundays. That's just my feeling on it. But if he does make it back to the Championship 4 next year, it would be his 7th. And if you believe in coincidences, this sport has its fair share of coincidences. It would be his 7th Championship 4, and he drives car number 7. So, there you go. But, yeah, overall, this race was okay for what it was. Of course, Allgaier, he was a bit too aggressive, but he said he spun himself out instead of taking John Hunter Nemechek out. One thing I will say, and this is something that a lot of people also took note, the Championship 4 contenders raced each other with a lot more respect than what we saw in the truck race, and I think that's greatly appreciated because, a lack of respect in all 3 of the top series has been a very sore point of discussion pretty much for the last couple years. And it's something that really needs to change because eventually it's going to get to the point where someone gets hurt or killed because of this dumb shit. And is that something we really want to see? I don't know. But anyways, here are the race stats for the Xfinity Series Championship race. There were 12 lead changes overall with 4 pure lead changes, 7 total cautions. 1,696 green flag passes, which averages out to 10.9 on average per green flag lap. And Custer led the most laps with 96 laps. So yeah, Custer and John Nemechek were pretty much the guys to beat all night. Junior Motorsports was just kind of there. They had a couple opportunities at it, but they come up short once again. So, it is what it is. Just have to buckle down, get back to work, and try again in 2024. As for my final rating for the 2023 XFinity Series Championship, like I said, this was an okay race. I mean, not really a whole lot of note happened. I mean, this is not going to be a race that's going to be remembered 10 years down the line. But for what it was okay. So, my final rating for this race will be not a 0. I forgot to change it. Fuck. Not a 0. Not a 0 for this race. Absolutely not. A 5. I'll cut it right down the middle. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Like I said, it was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It sure as hell wasn't as terrible as the Truck Series race. I'll tell you that much. God damn. That Truck Series race should come with a warning label. This contains poisonous amounts of suckage. That's what that Truck Series should be labeled as. But yeah, this race, even though it definitely had its problems, this race was far and away better than the Truck Series race on Friday night. Lord. But anyways, this is definitely a little bit shorter than the Truck Series review because, like I said, not really a whole lot to talk about in this one other than Custer wins the championship, and as the title of this episode says, Stewart-Haas Racing needed it badly. Like, really badly. But here in about an hour and 47 minutes will be the Cup Series finale and the final race review of 2023. Finally, I have done race reviews for every single race in NASCAR this year, trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. Something I won't be doing again because it's just way too fucking much. So it'll just be exclusively Cup next year. But it's been a season, to say the least. Some ups, but way more downs than ups. 2023 has honestly been a forgettable season from my vantage point. But, the thing about that is there's always room for improvement. So here's to hoping 2024 is a lot better. But that's going to do it for this edition of The Fuel. I will be back later on tonight for the final race review of 2023. So until then, this is the PackerMan signing out. See you later. What's happening, ladies and germs? Thank you for watching tonight's video. If you're interested in sponsoring the channel, there is a link to my Patreon down in the description box below. Otherwise, hit like and subscribe if you want to continue watching great content like you saw today. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, this is the PackerMan signing out.